Hello, welcome back to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Good to be with you as always, and thank you for joining me. It is review number 68 and part 2 of my series, The Perfect 10, looking at some 10-year-old whiskies of notability. They get a good reputation. And we're moving on back to Islay again, back to peat again, the Port Charlotte 10-year-old from the Bruichladdich distillery, Bruichladdich. Whichever you choose, owned by Remy Cointreau there in Islay. This is one. If you're a peat head, if you're one of those people that's into your peat, you'll know what I mean when I say this is 40 ppm. It's 40 fennel parts per million. You go away now and Google that and find out what it means. Honestly, it actually doesn't mean an awful lot to me. They rate peat levels in whiskey on this scale, and fennel parts per million is what they use. And as I say, it's something that you sort of carry with it, but it doesn't really carry an awful lot of weight with me. I'm there to drink the whiskey. That's what it's all about. And this one, as I said, Port Charlotte 10-year-old from the Bruichladdich distillery, bottled at 50%. No colour added, no chill filtration, and that 40 ppm, it's a bit of a peat beast, this one. Here we go. Initially, I get a slight pasty note off it. It's just the first thing that comes out, like wallpaper paste. There's mineral, sulphur. Yeah, it's all that smokiness over the top of everything. Seashells. Yep. And like rock pools, you know, that kind of brininess. There's also the oak plays into this. The maturation on this is a funny one. Quite a bit goes on in this. 65% first fill American oak, 10% second fill American oak, 25%, let me see if I get this right, second fill French wine casks. So there's a bit of work in this. And it does make for an interesting thing. As I say, the oak has its play. You can smell the oak on it. There's almost a sawdust note comes through with it. Sawdust and pencil shavings. Now, in my last series, when I was looking at peated whiskies, this was initially one that I was going to look at, but I already had planned to do some notable 10-year-olds, so this is where I wanted this one to come in now. And when I talked about the last and the peated ones, it was all about what was going on behind the peat. It's quite hard to find out what's going on behind the peat here, because the peat and the smoke are the big players in it. All that woodiness, all that sulphur and mineral note, all that, all just plays along with the peat. Yeah, it's good, a good peat fire smoke. Love it. After time, it does become sweeter. Then the fruit starts to show itself. There is a citrusy lemon note. There's also kiwi. Some, yet again, it's just adding to the sulphur thing, but you can smell burnt matches. And even a slight mint. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely mint at the end of it. So getting into the taste. Ooh, big, salty, phenolic delivery. This is, as compared to those other peat ones that I mentioned in the last series, this is a good peat monster throughout. Smells like peat smoke. Tastes like liquefied peat smoke. Love it. It sticks like glue. This just holds on and grips on the way in. It's thick, it's oily. Slight hint of coconut. At a stretch. Acidy notes like pear drops. At a stretch. But it's all about the peat. Clove as well, there's clove there. It's hot. Something I find quite typical of Bruichladdich spirit. There's a heat off it. Yeah, very good. Finish, long, peppery. White pepper, I would say. This actually has my lips tingling long after I finish the sip. And the rest just alive with memories of what went on in this. It almost takes me back to when I was a smoker many years ago. It almost leaves that smokiness for so long. It's just like having a cigarette. Not as bad as that, but just there's a hint of that. All about the peat. And weirdly, not peated in such a way. I don't get iodine. I don't get band-aid, sticking plaster, whatever you call it. It's actually good peat fire smoke. Yeah, lovely colour, lovely nose, lovely consistency, and just a lovely whiskey. Port Charlotte, called such to say this is made by Bruichladdich, but yet again they separate themselves. They separate the Port Charlotte because it's their peated whiskey. All their other whiskies, or most of their other whiskies, are unpeated, so they give it a different name just to make it stand out from their others. Can be a bit pricey. It's usually around the sort of 45 to 55 pounds mark, which is up there for a 10-year-old. But no colour added, non-chill filtered, 50%. You're getting an awful lot for that money, and it's one that you can really, really take your time over. I've had this bottle quite a while, and you don't want to be starting a flight with it. You really do not want to start something with it, even if it's a peated flight you're having. Keep this one to near the end, because you need to ramp up to something like this. You really do, but very, very accomplished whiskey. So, yes, if you like this, and peated, heavily peated whiskey, peat beasts are your thing, then why not give this a go? Yet again, don't have a bottle currently. This probably isn't even the... yet again, I've only had samples. But, you know, if you're looking at peat, if you're looking at peated whiskey, then look no further than, once again, Bruichladdich and the Octomore. Peated at high levels of ppm, that thing again, and just peat all day long. So if it's a peat rush you're looking, if you're looking the big phenolic hits, you don't really go much further than Octomore. So yeah, if you like this, give an Octomore a go. There's an awful lot of them out there. They're young whiskies. It's the Octomore barley. It's heavily peated. But you know, if you like your peated whiskey, if you want that hit, give an Octomore a go. So there you go. That's the second part over. And a very, very good whiskey, as I say. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but it really is a good peated whiskey. It brings an awful lot with it. There's enough there to make it worth the money. Okay, so there you have it. I'll be back next week with something else. Until then, thank you very much for joining me once again. Thank you very much to my patrons. If you wish to join that group, the details are below. Until I return again, here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.